Until recently, the biggest Hyundai you could buy was the Santa Fe, but with an eye on the American market, Hyundai have decided to go even bigger with the Palisade. If you have a large family or you're regularly moving big numbers of people, then this could be the car for you. It certainly has more road presence than a van. In fact, in this colour called Moonlight Cloud, it almost looks like it could be full of Secret Service agents escorting a visiting head of state. The Palisade's road presence is probably most notable in this enormous front grille. Everything about it says, "Get out of my way." I also really like the front light design here. It's similar sort of design language to what we've seen in the Kona, but here I think it works a little bit better, and I really like these driving lights that swoop from the top and go all the way down the bottom here in a continuous line. It's a really good look. We've got some good looking LED light clusters here at the back with a nice squared off design, something a little bit different to other cars in this category. And behind the powered tailgate with the back seats up, we get 711 litres of space. And with the back seats up, you still get a very usable 311 litres worth of space, which is much bigger than the Santa Fe. Underneath the hood, and we've got an engine bay that's actually got a fair amount of space in it. That's because there's two different engines available for the Palisade, a 6-cylinder and this one, a 4-cylinder 2.2 litre diesel that outputs 147 kilowatts of power and 440 Newton meters of torque. But it's that torque number that's really the most impressive, because for a 2.5-ton SUV, this car actually gets along really well, especially in sport mode. But the one thing it doesn't do quite as well is tow. If you're after some serious towing, you might need to look elsewhere, because this car only has a 2.2-ton brake towing capacity. Inside, and I think this interior is really great. It feels very up to the minute, kind of similar to what we saw inside the Kona EV, but just bigger. There's lots of buttons, everything's very clearly labelled, it's easy to find things, with two notable exceptions in there, two things that you are going to need on every single trip you do. The stop start for the engine and the park brake, both of which are hidden behind the steering wheel and you can't see them from the driver's point of view. You need to sort of find your way and fumble around to get to them, which I'm sure you'd get used to, but in my week of having this car, I have not yet done that. I wish that they were located here on the center console. Up on top here, we've got some nice soft touch plastics. There's piano black surrounding the center console screen and the instrument cluster. We've got some wood pattern here up on the doors and on the top of the dashboard there. I mean, yes, it's fake, but I think it actually looks really good. More soft touch beige plastic here, and some nice textured plastic as well here on the center console. It's just a nice little touch. We've got leather steering wheel with stitching, and then there's the Napa leather seats. Now these are fantastic. Here in the Highlander, we get 14 ways of electric adjustment here for the driver, and these seats are so comfortable. They're heated and vented, and I could sit in these all day. They are extremely comfortable. The center console screen is 10.25 inches. It runs the same software that we've seen in all of the latest Hyundais, which is very good. There's a couple of little changes to it for the Palisade. One thing I did find by accident as I was trying to pair my phone the other day was the sounds of nature, and it plays sounds of a busy cafe or a fire crackling or the sounds of the bush. It's actually really relaxing while you're stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and it sounds fantastic through this car's 12-speaker Infinity sound system. The Palisade Highlander also comes with Hyundai SmartSense as standard, which includes cameras on the wing mirrors, and this is something that Hyundai might have borrowed from Honda. I'm a Honda owner myself, and I've found this function very useful over the years. When you put the indicator on, the screen on the instrument cluster here shows you the blind spots from the cameras on the wing mirrors, and it's a really useful feature. Also included with SmartSense is Safety Exit Assist, which prevents the doors from being opened if an object is approaching the car from behind. And also surround view monitoring, which can really help park a car this size in a tight space like a shopping centre. Moving down the console, we've got some shortcut buttons here for the maps, the navigation, the radio, climate control for the front and rear. Then we've got the drive mode select dial, and there's just not quite enough feedback in this dial for me. It's a little too easy to throw it between comfort and eco, sport and smart. You can also change which terrain you're driving in, snow, mud, sand. You might notice that there's no gear stick in this car. That's because it's all done by push button. Now this is something that's been in buses and trucks forever. I'm amazed it's only just finding its way into cars now, but there you go. Heated and cooled seat controls and heated steering wheel controls as well. I love the sliding door action here in the middle of the center console. We've got USB input here, some cordless phone charging, a couple of cup holders with some more mechanical sort of movement to them. They look pretty awesome. A bit of an extra storage space for a wallet or keys or sunglasses. Open the armrest and we've got another USB port, a 12-volt outlet, a big deep cubby space and a tray here for some more frequently used items. On the windshield, we've got a fairly basic head-up display. Beneath that, we've got the hybrid analog digital instrument cluster. I wish it was all digital, but you can't have it all. The seating position, again, as you'd expect, nice and high. You can see everything right to the edges of the bonnet. Great visibility in the blind spots there, even though you've got the cameras to help you out as well. And reasonably good visibility out the back. Of course, we are high up, so you can't see all that low down beneath you, but of course there is a reversing camera. And as I mentioned before, this seating position is extremely comfortable. And with the lumbar support, I can sit here all day. But not really, because the sun is beating down on me and I'm really starting to sweat. Okay, back seat. And as expected, it is fantastic back here. There's heaps of room. My knees aren't anywhere near the seat in front of me, and I'm 190 centimeters tall, so this is off to a really, really good start. So comfortable. Oh yeah, this Napa leather is really brilliant. Now, I have not one, not two, not three, but 4 cup holders back here in the back seat. Count them, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't know why anyone would need 4 cups, but you can have them if you want them. Climate controls down here in the middle, and the outboard seats here in the back are heated too. USBs are located in the seats in front of me, a little bit of an awkward position, but you can get used to it, and there's a 12-volt charger down there too. Now, if you've got kids back here, or if you just want a bit of extra shade, of course you can pull up the window shades, which can certainly take the edge off the sun. And we've got that glorious panoramic sunroof up here, because there are actually 2 sunroofs in this car, and they are separate. One back here and one up the front. This one doesn't open, but it's still pretty good. Air conditioning up here on the ceiling, which you can point straight at your head. What a godsend that is on a day like today, especially when it's about 30 degrees. Wish it was on right now. But yeah, back seat, awesome. Here in the back seat, there is actually technically room for 3 people. 3 very small people, probably kids, but there are 3 seat belts back here, so they could fit in. And if we just slide this back here like that, then there's actually a reasonable amount of room. And just to prove that back seat passengers don't have to miss out, there are 4 cup holders back here, 2 USBs, and head level air vents for the air conditioning. So the Palisade just is big. It feels big in every way. You sit up high, you've got a very commanding position over all you survey. I actually kind of like it. But for a non-European SUV of this size, it feels incredibly refined in here. It's very smooth, very quiet, and extremely comfortable. This car really feels like the kind of car that you would go on a long tour. I could almost imagine driving across Australia in one of these. There's a lot of car to maneuver around corners, especially on these suburban roads, but it does get a lot of attention. The number of people who I have seen point at this car or, you know, tap someone next to them on the shoulder and say, hey, look at that. The diesel engine's actually very polite. It's not overly loud. You don't have too much of that diesel tractor-like noise that you get from some cars. It's there, it's undeniable, but it's not obtrusive. And of course, it's tremendously fuel efficient. In fact, on a full tank of diesel, this car will go for around about 800 kilometers. Starting at around $65,000 and adding an extra 16 grand or so for the Highlander version as seen here, the Hyundai Palisade is a big, comfortable people mover that's surprisingly refined and very nice to drive. If you move a lot of people around or you've got a large family and you're on a princely budget, then this could be the king of the road for you.